So we got this Kohler running. I started hunting for a clutch to put on it because I want to use this engine on a 0 turn. So this was the clutch that came off the bad engine. And I'm dealing with an 1 1/8 hole, but the shaft on this motor it's an 1 7/16 shaft. So I haven't been able to find a clutch that'll run on an 1 7/16 shaft. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the crankshaft out of this motor. I'm gonna put it on my lathe. I'm gonna turn it down to an 1 1/8 where I can fit that clutch on this motor. And then I'll be able to put it on that Skag mower that I bought, and we'll have another mower, which is always good to have. It's always handy. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna tear this engine down and attempt to pull the crankshaft out of it. Hopefully, I don't have to pull the heads on it. I'm gonna see if I can squeak the rods by after I unbolt the bottom of the rods. I'm gonna see if I can squeak the crankshaft by the rods without pulling the heads. Because I know the motor runs, I know the heads are, like the head gaskets are good, and I really don't wanna put a whole lot of money into it. But we'll do what we have to do. So that's where I'm at with it. I've drained the oil. That's as far as I've gotten because I wanted to video this for y'all. So I'm gonna start tearing this motor apart, or at least trying to tear the crankshaft out. You can see I'm using our Vannon batteries. They're good batteries. I really like them. I've used them now for a little while, and they seem to do everything a battery should do. All right, so these flywheels, usually they have a cone-shaped end on your crankshaft, and the flywheel has a cone shape, and it squishes on there and sticks every time, and it's got a keyway in it. So you really need a puller to pull it out. So let me see if I can clean these bolt holes up out here. Let me show you what we got. There's 4 bolt holes that need to be, they got dirt daubers in them. So I'm gonna clean that out, and then we'll see if we can throw some screws in there and pull that off. Let's see if I can get y'all closer. Let's go down there. You see these 4 holes right here? 1, 2, got dirt dauber crud all in them. Interesting fact about the dirt dauber, if you don't know, they love to eat spiders, and their favorite spider is the black widow. So I try not to kill dirt daubers if I don't have to, because they like black widows, and I do not like black widows. Let me go and see if I can find a puller, and we'll see if we can pull that flywheel off. Put that up there, put that one up there. And the flywheel comes off. Woohoo! Oh, great. All right, so let me show y'all another problem. All these magnets right here, see that magnet? That magnet is actually supposed to be stuck, glued in here. So if you don't have that magnet glued in on the inside of your flywheel, it won't charge. So what I'm gonna do is put all the magnets back, because they will stick in the order that they go, because that is important. And before I put this back together, I'll put the magnets back on and glue them in with JB Weld. That's probably your best bet. See, this one broke, but you can actually put it back together broken and it'll be all right. It'll work. But you want them magnets in there in the correct order, because they got north and south poles on each magnet, and you need to flip-flop them. So I'm glad I found that, because the mower would have never charged. And I'd have been wondering why. This is your stator. The magnets actually sit on the flywheel, inside the flywheel, and go around this stator and build a electrical pulse. It's an AC electrical pulse. And then your voltage regulator turns it into a DC for your battery. All right, that's all we have to do on this side. Now we'll come around to this side. We're gonna take the muffler off, and then we'll pull this case half off. I'm probably gonna need wrenches. All right, guys, I'm back. I took the muffler off of it. As you can see, now we've got to pull all these little 10mm bolts, and this back plate will slide off. All right, well, I'll come back to you when I figure out how to take that off. Okay, as you can see, I've got the outside plate off. If you take the oil cooler off, you take the nut out that you thread your oil filter onto, and the oil cooler will come off. So that's how you get the backing plate off. This motor has a thrust bearing in it and the shim behind it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that back into this housing. That way I don't lose that. Looks like it has a couple of thrust washers. There we go. Okay, put them back how they're supposed to be. And I'm gonna take this plate, which has your oil pump and your governor, oil pump. I'm gonna put it out the way so that I don't drop things on it. And then you need to pull the cam. This is your cam, this is your crank. So what I'm gonna do is flip the motor over, because if you pull the cam out, your lifters will fall out. And you don't want that to happen. Actually, let's see. Yeah, I want them to stay in the right place. So we're gonna flip the motor over. Now you can pull your cam out. There we go. Okay, lift. There's your cam. Hey guys, we're back in the shop this evening. It's dark, it's about 9 o'clock in the evening, but we're gonna attempt to turn down this crankshaft on this Kohler motor. So I'm gonna set it up in the lathe, bring you along and watch how I set it up, and then we're gonna turn it down to where it fits the clutch that I want to install on it, and then we'll go back together with it. So here we go. You have some handles right there. Well, I set up my dial gauge and we'll put it on there and we'll see how close to true I'm at, which y'all probably need to be on this side to see it. Let's see. Holy moly, I'm within 1,000. I think that's gonna be good enough. I've got my dial gauge right here. I'm gonna spin the crankshaft and we are within 1,000. So I think that's good enough. These motors turn at 3,600 RPM. So they're not real high revving motors. I'm not cutting any counterweights off. All I'm doing is turning it down right here to accept the new clutch. Our end bore needs to be 1.120 would be better probably. Yeah, 1.120 is what we're shooting for. And we are quite a bit bigger than that. So it's gonna take a few passes to get us down. Basically right now, we are at 1.441, it looks like. So we want to be at 1.120. So we're going to turn the lathe on, get her spinning, touch off, back it up, turn it in a little bit, and we'll hit the automatic feed. Now this is a very slow process that I've got it on, but it gives me a decent finish. So we're getting close. We're at 1.136 about. We need to be at 1.120. All right, folks, there you have it. A turn down shaft. It's a crankshaft out of a Kohler engine. We gotta still cut another key, or a new key. I'll set that up and I will bring y'all back to check out that process. All right, guys, we're back. I done set up the machine. We got the crankshaft in it. I've got a Bridgeport milling machine here. I've got a 1/4-inch milling bit. We're gonna put it in this Bridgeport. I'm gonna tighten it up. So I'm going with a 1/4-inch bit because that's how wide I want the keyway. Your keyways are usually quarter by quarter or 5/16 by 5/16. Ours happens to be a quarter. You pick the bit that's wide enough to cut the groove you want, and then you're gonna want to go half the distance down. That way half of the key can stick above the shaft and half is below the shaft. So we're gonna go 1/8 down, 0.125. So that's how far we're gonna go down. I've already set this up, found the edge of my vise, and then I come over half of 1.120 because that's my shaft diameter. I've got the bit set where I want it to cut on the shaft. So now I need to pull this in and set my cutting depth. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna start it up. I'm gonna drop it down until I barely touch off, and then zero me zero out. So now I gotta go down 1.125 below that. No, 0.125. So we're gonna go down 50 thousandths and we're gonna give us a cut. I hope you can see there what we got going on. Okay, but that's not quite deep enough. So we're gonna back out, we're gonna run it again. So we're almost deep enough there. One more pass will do it. 125. If you look right here, let me show you. Right here, I've got a readout that tells me my depth, 0.125. This up here is my DRO, so it tells me where my center and everything is. So now, last pass. All right, we've cut a key. We've successfully cut a new key, and we've turned down our crankshaft. So let's see if you can see it. There's the new keyway. The crankshaft is turned down to size, and we should be good to go. The next step on this engine will be to thoroughly clean this crankshaft and then reinstall it. I gotta buy a couple of parts. It'll be a few days before I get those in. That's how we do it around here. If you need something and you have the capabilities, you make it. God bless y'all. Y'all have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next time.